Tonight on CTV News at 6, digesting the big downtown deal. The implications of Ice District improvements.
The province is offering us $183 million free and clear. In what world do we not take that money?
Opting in, the push to teach parents about sex education changes.
It's really unnecessary, these barriers and added hoops for the opt-in.
And Edmonton's outdoor pools count down to closure during the first long stretch of hot weather this summer.
Our numbers are way down this year with those afternoon rainstorms.
The heat streak continues. We're on day 2. Could see 5 more days with temperatures close to record highs.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. We start with developing news. A 12-year-old boy is in hospital after being electrocuted by a downed power line in a rural area southeast of Edmonton. A Stars Air ambulance with the boy on board landed at the U of A hospital late this afternoon. Alberta Health Services says the boy was in critical condition. RCMP say the electrocution happened near the village of Warburg just before 3. Fortis is currently reporting an unplanned outage in the same area that the boy was found in. The YWCAs of Alberta have launched a campaign to remind parents to opt their kids into sex health education this fall. As CTV's Marian Valdez-Carletti reports, new legislation requires it.
There's a lot to remember when it comes to sending your kids back to school. The YWCAs of Alberta want you to add one more thing.
Starting September 1st, parents and guardians need to opt in if their child is to receive sex ed.
The YWCA wants parents and caregivers to understand the changes and make a proper informed decision. COO Catherine O'Neill believes sexual health education is valuable at any age. Public data from Open Alberta shows an 11-year-old girl gave birth last year, and 6 14-year-old girls also gave birth.
The evidence is clear that when you have good sexual education as a youth, that you'll protect yourself against things like STDs, teen pregnancies.
Among other changes, the new legislation says teaching resources that deal with gender identity, sexual orientation, or human sexuality must be approved by the education minister. The province says the amendments will strengthen parental involvement.
I think that's perfect, because then the parents can decide this is something we definitely will teach our children at home.
At some point in their life, the kids are still going to get exposed to other things, so I feel like easing them into that part of their life is only proper.
Prior to legislation, children were automatically enrolled in sex education, and parents could opt out. In a statement, the province says this change provides clear direction to school boards to ensure parents are fully aware of and consent to their child participating in classroom instruction on these topics.
It's really unnecessary, these barriers and added hoops for the opt-in. What was working before was just the opt-out.
Support Our Students Alberta says the extra opt-in step will leave gaps in Alberta sex health education. The province says a list of approved learning and teaching resources will be available online at the end of the month. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Alberta teachers in the province resume bargaining today in an effort to avoid a looming strike. Teachers across the province voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike in June. Sticking points include growing class sizes, support for students with complex needs, and wages. Alberta's premier acknowledges the need to deal with things like aggression in the classroom, but says funding is adequate. If no deal is reached, teachers have until October the 7th to hit the picket lines and must give 72 hours notice. The group representing the province at the bargaining table will be voting Friday about whether to lock out teachers. The deal out of City Hall means the days are numbered for the Coliseum. The old home of the Oilers shut down for good in 2018 after making way for Rogers Place. As part of the deal, Ice District will be home to another venue, a $250 million park for concerts and other events. And that has some councillors worried it will poach bookings from the city's 2 convention centres. As Jeremy Thompson reports, the tourism group that runs those venues expects they'll all work together.
City Council has inked a deal with the province and Oilers Entertainment Group to turn the fan park into an event park. It was billed as a medium-sized concert venue and community space, but city staff added conferences and trade shows as potential uses during negotiations.
That was not on my radar throughout these conversations, and I think it creates a direct threat to our city-owned convention center, also our expo center as well.
City staff didn't have time to do the typical impact analysis for the event park. Instead, City Manager Eddie Robar relayed information from text conversations with the Oilers to councillors in real time.
Like CFR, Junos, CCMAs, World Juniors, those kinds of things, but as far as their primary use, it's not conference use.
For the visitor economy, this really is a huge investment.
The head of the tourism body that runs the Edmonton Convention Centre and Expo Centre says a venue like the event park will attract more people to Edmonton. Tracy Bednard believes that will boost the city's brand, in turn boosting convention centre bookings. But that's not the only part of the deal she's excited about.
With the demolition of Northlands, the realignment of the LRT, that is going to enhance our Edmonton Expo Centre.
It's been nearly a decade since the Oilers played their last game in the Coliseum. This deal will see it torn down next summer and begin early work for future housing on the site. It also includes $68 million to prepare land north of Rogers Place for housing, with 350 units to be built by 2028.
In any sort of city building enterprise, everyone gets skin in the game. And the reason for that is so that everyone does their part.
Councillor Aaron Paquette voted for the deal that he says protects Edmonton taxpayers by capping the city's contribution.
The province is offering us $183 million free and clear. Why, in what world do we not take that money?
The event park is scheduled to open in 2029. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Alberta Next panel will reconvene tonight for a town hall in Fort McMurray. The meetings are being held to address grievances Danielle Smith says are inspiring separatist sentiment. The panel has pitched 6 policy ideas, including pulling out of the Canada Pension Plan and creating a provincial force to replace the RCMP. Another issue up for discussion is the idea of withholding social services from some immigrants. A recent panel in Edmonton boiled over with a fiery mix of hecklers and supporters. The Premier and panel members will be in Lloydminster tomorrow. The Edmonton International Airport is helping some rescue dogs find their forever homes. The Dog Days of Summer event encourages people to adopt a pet. The dogs are from the Greater Edmonton Animal Rescue Society. The event also showcases programs available to dog owners, including pet therapy. Organizers say it's also a way to give travelers an extra warm welcome.
Just the look again on everybody's faces when they see the dogs interact and when they get to interact with them, like, it just makes people happy. It's just amazing, like, the effect that animals can have on people.
It's a great welcome for passengers that are coming home, and definitely it relieves stress. So travel is sometimes a stressful event for some people. So having those pets available when they come through into our arrivals area and they can check them out, I think is a great thing for passengers and certainly puts a smile on their faces.
Last year, the airport helped 11 dogs find a home. Time is running out to visit most of the city's outdoor pools before they close for the year. As CTV's Merrick DeCash reports, Edmonton's pools have experienced a significant drop in attendance this summer.
Perfect weather for a day at the pool, much like what the next few days have in store.
We were expecting like this for like 30 or 40 days this summer, and we definitely did not get that.
With outdoor pool season coming to a close on Monday, folks at Waquintawin Pool are making the most of a sunny day.
Well, I understand there's going to be one open in the city, but this one will close apparently, so which is a shame, really. It's a pretty popular one for the neighborhood.
I think they should try and let the pool stay open longer if the weather's nice.
Even though it's been sunny this week, outdoor pools across the city have seen a major drop in usage this year.
Our numbers last year were double what they are right now. So, yeah, we're about close to 80,000 for all year this year, where we were around 160 last year.
Pool operators are blaming rainy days for keeping Edmontonians away.
Our numbers are way down this year with those afternoon rainstorms, right? People weren't just weren't coming out in big numbers like last year, even with the smoke.
And And despite the wishes of many, the city says pools cannot stay open past this weekend.
We just don't have the staffing, right? A lot of the people that we use, the front counter staff, our lifeguards, they're going back to university on Tuesday if they haven't already started to prep to go back to school.
The final day, people can enjoy the outdoor pools at Borden Park, Mill Creek, Fred Broadstock, and Waquintawin is Labor Day. Queen Elizabeth Pool will remain open until September 14th. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
A local brewery is helping community members stay hydrated this week. With more hot days ahead, Arcadia Brewing will hand out water to vulnerable people downtown. The brewing company is asking for donations of bottled water.
We're not just a business, we're trying to give back to the community as much as possible. That's not just by supporting businesses or foundations, it's about breaking down maybe stigmas or walls and actually going out there and bringing empathy and kindness and love out to the streets of our city.
Donations can be dropped off at the Manchester Square Brewery at 120th Street and 107th Avenue. All right, Josh, we're talking weather records. How about a record number of weather records?
We had a record high today. We'll get at least 2 more, maybe a third one. That would be 4 consecutive days with record highs, and that is the record for most records. Does that make sense? Is that too many records? At least 3 in a row, as we'll get record-setting temperatures tomorrow and Thursday. Take a look outside right now. It's 31 degrees. So into the 30s. For the next 5 straight days. I think even Sunday probably gets to 30 for a daytime high. Today's official high is going to go down as 32.2. So 0.2 of a degree better than 1981 and the new record holder for August 26th, 10 degrees above average. So what it looks like outside right now with the CTV drone. Blue skies with just a couple of tiny little clouds. We've had a little bit of haze over the Edmonton area as well as that heat with the upper ridge, the heat aloft, has been trapping some pollutants down towards the surface over parts of downtown Edmonton. You can kind of see that if you were driving in from the outskirts. That'll be the case for the next couple of days. We've also had a couple of thunderstorms really isolated in through the foothills. We'll see that repeated over the next couple of days. There's also been a couple cracks in that upper ridge that have set off some really isolated showers and even a few thunderstorms in parts of northeastern Alberta. And you can see that one thunderstorm cell there northwest of Westlock. Now, that will fizzle out before it hits the Edmonton region. So just clear skies here in the city overnight tonight. Sunshine and 33 in the forecast for tomorrow. 33 again on Thursday. When will it cool off? We'll talk about that later in the newscast.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Stay with us. With the heat finally here, some businesses are cashing in.
I don't think I would make up for the season, but I'll make up a little bit, so I'll be happy with that.
I'll look at the ups and downs of owning a weather-dependent business in Alberta. Also next.
That's great. You guys killed it. You guys.
An Alberta woodworker taking his talents to Hollywood after a call from a rock icon.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Alberta's Parks Minister says a person attacked by a grizzly in southern Alberta is expected to recover. Todd Lowen says the attack happened over the weekend near Milk River. The person was fishing. Lowen says the bear was with cubs when the attack happened, and he suspects the grizzly was acting defensively. He also says the bear hasn't been seen since the mauling. Alberta Fish and Wildlife officers have set up bear traps and trail cameras in the area. Well, the hot weather is here. Today is one of what could be consecutive record-setting days in Edmonton. Many Alberta businesses are now catching up and cashing in on the late summer heat wave. CTV's Terry Fikowski reports.
It's the perfect way to spend a hot day. The problem is there hasn't been many of them this summer.
Really wet and rainy almost every day.
Calgary recorded its 3rd wettest July on record, slashing business at Riverside Rafting by 60%.
July, the worst month. Usually our best month, but this year was the worst month.
But business is now blowing up amid the hot spell, and Atui is hoping it will help keep him afloat.
I don't think I would make up for the season, but I'll make up a little bit, so I'll be happy with that.
People are also making up for lost time at Calgary's outdoor pools.
We love coming here, and it's been nice when it's sunny and not rainy.
My favorite part of the pool is doing cool tricks and also swimming.
From the pool to the patio, restaurants are happy to see more customers coming out after the last few months wet weather kept them home.
It hurt the bottom line a bit, but we're glad to see August has heated up, and we're looking forward to maybe a hotter September and October as well.
A similar scoop for the folks at Village Ice Cream, who are now seeing a steady stream of sweet tooths after things slowed down during their usual busiest season.
July was probably one of the slowest months that we've had, I think, since 2018. We were hoping for better, but you know, August is proving to make up in spades for it.
With no better way to escape the heat than with a sweet treat. What is the best way to cool down?
Ice cream.
Terry Fikowski, CTV News, Calgary.
An Edmonton physician who traded his stethoscope for a hockey stick has coached his team to a gold medal victory at an international tournament.
I don't think anyone expected us to come in and win the gold. It's only our second year in the tournament, so it was an amazing feeling.
Cameron Saber was the head coach for the men's Pakistani hockey team at the Amirigal Latam Cup. It's a tournament comprised of dozens of teams representing 16 countries trying to grow the game of hockey. The men's Pakistani team went undefeated, going 5-0. They beat Peru 6-1 to win their first championship at the Cup.
With this win, our goal is to kind of get the attention of the country of Pakistan, their Winter Sports Federation, and hopefully we can start running some clinics over there, help maybe get some ice surfaces created for local players.
There was one player from Alberta on the roster from Airdrie. Saber says their attention now turns to another international tournament next spring. A small Alberta business owner never thought social media would lead to a trip to California to drop off work for a rock star. A phone call from Kiss's Paul Stanley kicked off a year-long project and a special surprise. CTV's Jordan Canigan has more.
Wow. I mean, look at...
Paul Stanley is used to dazzling other people, but it was the Kiss frontman who was impressed by a Calgary company last month.
It's a piece of art.
Yeah.
Good try. Yeah. That's great.
You guys killed it.
You guys.
Thank you. The Rockstar took delivery of a custom-made table from Black Forest Wood Company. The Calgary family-run business worked with Stanley to design and build the piece over the last year.
It's 15.5 feet long, 5 feet wide, ended up weighing probably about 1,000 pounds for the top. It's made with a walnut burl and resin, and then we've got this custom X base that we constructed to sit beneath it.
Wood was sourced from Oregon to be worked on in Calgary. Then the table was shipped down to Beverly Hills. It took about a dozen people just to lift it into the rocker's home.
It was an amazing feeling because I was pretty confident he was going to be happy with it, but I really, truly didn't expect him to basically put on a show for us and really just show his admiration for the piece.
Stanley opted for a custom high-gloss finish on the resin and matte finish on the wood. That alone took about a week. The reaction from the lead singer made it all worth it.
Paul Stanley actually made us all feel quite comfortable. He was on an equal level with us, and it kind of took away from that anxiety. It was just more excitement, more so than a discomfort at all.
The crew also surprising Stanley with a custom guitar made out of maple burl, meaning their work could one day make it up onto the big stage. Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
Stay with us. Coming up, Taylor Swift's August engagement.
Oh, they're engaged? They're engaged. Wait, actually? Oh my gosh.
Everything going all too well for the singer and football star Travis Kelce. A look at their love story up next.
Oh, that reaction was priceless. 32 degrees today. Should be even hotter tomorrow and Thursday. Could see a shower or thunderstorm, though, on Labor Day. We'll talk more about all that after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Hasn't been a cruel summer for Taylor Swift. Hot on the heels of an album announcement, fans are reacting to news the singer is now engaged to football star Travis Kelce. CTV's Andrea Case looks at the high-profile love story.
Travis Kelce proposed and Taylor Swift said yes. And fans in Toronto couldn't be happier.
Yes! Oh, they're engaged. They're engaged. Wait, actually? Oh my gosh.
Have a good life with her husband.
Some good advice. What advice would you give him with her?
And be nice.
One of the world's most famous couples announced their engagement on Instagram with the caption, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." The ring, an old mine brilliant cut diamond from Kindred Lubeck. As for the dress she wore, by Ralph Lauren, already sold out. It was a three-time Super Bowl winner, Travis Kelce, who pursued Swift more than 2 years ago.
So I was a little butthurt. I didn't get to hand her one of the bracelets I made for her, one with my number on it.
Eventually they met, Swift admitting she didn't know much about football.
I didn't know what a first down was.
I am forever thankful for you diving into the football world.
And she certainly did, creating a stir just entering the football stadium, and NFL cameras constantly covering her every move in the Kelce family private box.
The latest status is I got to see her last week. That's the latest status right there.
And the second question, are you in love?
I'm going to keep my personal relationship personal.
She attended his games, and he followed her on the Eras Tour, attending 14 concerts, even making an appearance in one of her London shows.
What I saw on that tour last year was pretty remarkable. It was something I could admire watching and take a lot of notes from.
Even President Donald Trump, when asked, had something to say on the news of the engagement.
Well, I wish him a lot of luck. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person, so I wish them a lot of luck.
He hasn't always been so gracious about the pop star, posting, "I hate Taylor Swift," after she endorsed Kamala Harris for president. Andrea Case, CTV News.
It's quite the about face.
Some mixed messages there. Yeah. So tonight, fantasy football draft. Should I take Travis?
Do not draft him. His mind is going to be elsewhere.
He's got planning
for the rest of this season. Take a look outside right now with the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. 31 degrees in Edmonton right now. 32 for a daytime, a record-setting daytime high today. 30s, Fort McMurray, Cold Lake, Lloydminster, Coronation. 33s, Medicine Hat and Lethbridge. 31s and 32s in Grand Prairie and Peace River. So I would imagine there were a number of spots around the province that set new record highs today, and that will likely be the case again tomorrow. Now, as we've been mentioning, we've got this big upper ridge, but there have been some cracks in it, and that's allowed a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms to pop up. That one there, northwest Cold Lake, is completely gone. This one here that popped up, a little shower cell, that's gone. Through the foothills, that's where we were anticipating that. And then the Swan Hills region, where you have some elevated terrain, the little terrain-initiated thunderstorm activity in through that region, but you could see how quickly that is settling down. And so no threat to the Edmonton area. Skies will stay clear overnight tonight. Skies will stay clear tomorrow and through the next number of days. Again, through the foothills, you might see a pop-up shower or thunderstorm late in the day tomorrow and again late Thursday, but nothing that comes off of the foothills. Most areas going to stay mainly sunny. There's Thursday, big upper ridge fully in place. Starts to sneak off to the southeast through the weekend, and you can see it doesn't get really cold in the upper levels, but there is this little bit of a dip here, and that may be enough to set off some showers and possibly thunderstorms on Labor Day Monday. So temperatures will drop back into the mid-20s, it looks like, with that extra cloud cover and the better chance for some showers and thunderstorms. But even right through Sunday, we're still going to be up around 30. So you got 5 more really hot days to get through before things start to cool off. It's 30 in Fort McMurray right now, 31 Grand Prairie, Jasper, and here in Edmonton, 29s in Lloydminster and in Red Deer. Temperatures at 9 o'clock tonight, still around 24, 25 degrees. At 9 p.m., hotter than the average daytime high for this time of year. Light wind through the overnight period. It may get a little breezy at times tomorrow, just enough to kind of cool things off a bit, 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. 33 under mainly sunny skies tomorrow. The record high for tomorrow is 31 from 1934. So that record, I'll be shocked if that doesn't get shattered tomorrow. 32, this is actually a 31.7 for Thursday's record daytime high. Well, that one should fall. So that would be 3 consecutive days with record highs. We've got a chance Friday 32 in the forecast. The record is 32. Saturday, Sunday, it's still hot, still 30, 31-ish, but I think those record highs from 1940 will remain through the weekend. Here's your chance of some scattered showers. About a 30 to 40% chance for Monday, a little less of a chance on Tuesday. Temperatures back into the mid-20s to close the long weekend, and then low to mid-20s Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if you are melting and not enjoying this heat, you have 5 more days, and then you get some relief.
Thanks, Josh. Coming up, replacing an aging fleet.
Our subs are quieter than Canadian snowfall, but tougher than a player in the Stanley Cup.
Canada narrows its scope of countries to buy new submarines from. Plus,
We are going to drop our prices back down by 50% so that we're back to the norm that we were.
when Canadians could see some relief on store shelves as Ottawa axes retaliatory tariffs.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Prime Minister Mark Carney was busy on the international stage today. Carney is committing to extending Canada's NATO mission in Latvia for 3 years. He's also pursuing new economic and military cooperation with Europe, something that includes a big-ticket item. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Prime Minister Mark Carney tours a shipyard. The German Norwegian consortium TKNS is pitching Canada to buy its submarines.
Our subs are quieter than Canadian snowfall, but tougher than a player in the Stanley Cup final.
In Berlin, the government announced it's narrowed its search for up to 12 new submarines to 2 companies, this one and South Korea's Hanwha.
It's not about buying the big shiny object from the showroom floor. It's about how you are going to sustain that capability over what will probably end up being 30 to 40 years.
Canada's submarine fleet is so old it will be decommissioned by 2035. Senior government officials describe the situation as having some urgency.
We need to be able to have year-round fleets in all 3 coasts under quite demanding conditions. So that's how the field narrows quite quickly.
In addition to tricky technical requirements, the government wants a purchase as massive as this one to have an equal investment in Canada.
Really positive indication of with this announcement today, which is atypical for the way Canada's generally approached big procurements, and based on a project budget that could get into like $100 billion range, this could end up being the single most expensive and largest defense acquisition that we've ever undertaken.
TKMS's CEO said they were open to building in Canada, which would be a first.
The customer's always right? So if they want or demand for special, let's say, reasons to build them in Canada, we would also be able for that.
Wednesday, the Prime Minister will meet Canadian troops here in Latvia. Tonight, he announced he will extend the NATO mission Canada leads here by another 3 years. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Riga.
The Canada-U.S. trade minister says a meeting in Washington today with the Trump administration's top economic advisor was productive. Dominic LeBlanc met with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. The meeting lasted longer than scheduled, from an hour up to 90 minutes. The meeting came after Ottawa announced last week it would lift retaliatory tariffs on some American goods. That move to lift retaliatory tariffs starting September 1st is expected to bring some relief to Canadian retailers and shoppers. CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports.
Did you find everything you were looking for?
At Cedars & Co. Food Market on Bank Street, they've had to shift away from offering American produce and goods.
We have had to transition because of the tariffs.
Back in March, the Carney government imposed counter tariffs on a long list of American goods, including coffee and tea, orange juice, tires, shoes, and electronics.
When the tariffs came in, we saw a huge rise on dry goods as well as product lines in the produce area. So from anything that came in from the United States, oranges went up significantly up in price. So we transitioned. South Africa, Argentina, Ecuador, Portugal, Morocco.
I like to know where my products come from.
With Canada set to lift tariffs September 1st, businesses and shoppers are counting on lower prices.
I would say 90% of our clients have boycotted U.S. goods, and they are relying solely on Canadian goods.
We support local businesses, Canadian businesses, and try to avoid unnecessary tariffs where they apply.
I want to support the local producers, the people who are doing all the work. I want to support them on the Canadian side.
At Capital Furniture and Mattress, owner Nadia Gadban says tariffs have hurt sales.
But they've slowed down business for sure.
But come September 1st, Gadban plans to cut prices.
We are going to drop our prices back down by 15% so that we're back to the norm that we were because customers have noticed the sudden increase. So this is our Canadian brand.
But when it comes to mattresses, customers here also buying Canadian.
Our business has gone up 25% since the tariffs were implemented because people have stopped buying the American brand.
The price of coffee beans went up considerably the minute the tariffs hit.
Back at Cedars & Co., Dibbs says she might consider U.S. goods again, but only as a last resort.
So if the produce significantly comes down in price and we need to adjust and we cannot find it in other countries, diverse countries, we will definitely have to fall back on the U.S.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
U.S. President Donald Trump is escalating his battle with the Federal Reserve, saying he's firing a Federal Reserve governor. Trump is accusing Lisa Cook of false statements on mortgage agreements as grounds for cause. Cook says the president has no authority to fire her and she will not resign. For months, Trump has bashed Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell for not lowering interest rates. Families of the hostages held by Hamas are ramping up pressure on the Israeli government, calling for the release of their loved ones and an end to the war in Gaza. International pressure is also mounting for both sides to reach a ceasefire deal as the humanitarian situation in the enclave worsens. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
On a highway outside of Tel Aviv, protesters burned tires, blocked traffic, and demanded an end to the war in Gaza.
Accept the deal that's on the table to end the bloodshed that's going on.
These protests are the largest anti-war demonstrations to take place in Israel since the Hamas-led attacks of October 7th, which triggered the war in Gaza. They come as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces mounting pressure, both at home and abroad, over the deteriorating situation in the enclave. On Monday, Israel struck one of the only functioning hospitals in southern Gaza, then hit the facility a second time as journalists and rescue workers rushed to the scene. At least 20 people were killed, including 5 journalists. Israel says the strike was targeting a Hamas camera and will investigate what happened.
And I've worked in that hospital.
Nicole Lessard spent May, June, and July working in Gaza as a nurse with Médecins Sans Frontières. She says the suffering is constant. There's not enough food or medicine, and since Israel handed over aid distribution to the U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, getting aid can be deadly.
When the sites made an announcement they were going to open for food distribution, we would shortly receive mass casualties to the hospital. They keep the doors closed and then open them. People rush in. The food is dropped in the center, and it's basically like a fight to the death.
As Israel pushes ahead with its military offensive in Gaza City, there are not only fears in Gaza but in Israel as well, with approximately 20 living hostages still being held in the enclave.
The Prime Minister has really gone rogue now. He's going against his chief of staff. He's going against the hostage families. He's going entirely against the international community.
Today, the United Nations demanded that Israel's investigation into the hospital strike comes with accountability, noting that more than 270 journalists have been killed in Gaza since the war began. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
A towering dust storm in Arizona appeared to swallow the city of Phoenix, also known as a haboob. The dust storm swept through the city yesterday. The phenomenon blinded drivers and knocked out power. It also grounded flights at Phoenix International Airport, one of America's busiest. Heavy rain and wind followed the storm, adding to travel delays. In British Columbia, crews are dealing with record-breaking temperatures as they battle 4 out-of-control wildfires.
We do have this warming, drying condition, which is very unique for late August after a period of extended drought in the summer. So our fuels are very susceptible to ignition and spread.
One wildfire in Fraser Canyon has prompted local evacuation alerts. Officials suspect the Sailor Bar fire was human-caused. Meanwhile, on the East Coast, there are no new reports of damage to homes from an out-of-control wildfire in Nova Scotia. And heavy rain was expected to bring relief as crews continue to fight a fire in Newfoundland. In New Brunswick, authorities have lifted an evacuation advisory for a fire near Miramichi. The Royal Canadian Air Force and the U.S. Coast Guard teamed up on emergency medical evacuations from a cruise ship.
And just next to, looks like there's a pool in the front, so just aft of that pool.
Officials on the Ruby Princess cruise ship made an urgent distress call about 85 kilometers south of Tofino off Vancouver Island. The rescue efforts involved aerial oversight from a Canadian aircraft and medical evacuations of 2 critically ill people by helicopter. Both were taken to hospital. In a joint statement, the Air Force and Coast Guard say the operation exemplifies exceptional cooperation. Still to come, a hidden gem in Red Deer.
So the kids would actually sleep upstairs, and once they were all tucked into bed and put away, they would take the ladder off, and so no one could get up or down.
How a traditional log house in central Alberta is honoring Norwegian culture. Also ahead.
We can't rely 100% on one source.
Customers pivot from Canada Post as the national mail carrier reports its largest loss in a single quarter. And there is a live look from the CTV drone at the house that Gretzky built, the old Coliseum, set to come down next summer, part of a $400 million deal between the city, the province, and the Oilers Entertainment Group. Stay with us. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 72 cents to the American dollar. Oil lost $1.55, ending the day at $63.25 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained more than $15 on the day. The TSX and Dow Jones both ended the day higher, up 169 points and 135 points, respectively. The National Mail Service has reported its largest loss in a single quarter. Canada Post says the drop is directly linked to customers turning to other carriers out of concern another strike could delay their deliveries. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
Canada Post lost $407 million between April and June. Its profits deteriorating, due in part to a dramatic decline in parcel customers. Revealing the record loss, Canada Post said it continues to confront significant operational and structural challenges, and the ongoing labor uncertainty has contributed significantly. Last year's strike and the threat of more disruption this spring prompted this hobby shop owner, who for nearly 40 years loved and relied on Canada Post, to pivot.
That was why I had to make the move and say we can't rely 100% on one source.
He now lets his customers across the country choose their courier.
I've got to run a business, and I can't shut down for a month or month and a half at a time.
The uncertainty is shared by Canada Post workers, the union says, as contract negotiations with the Crown Corporation remain stalled.
It affects us every day, and when you're going to get a mortgage or you're going to buy a car, those are things that you worry about. Do you have a job in the future?
The minister responsible calling Canada Post's financial situation deeply troubling, saying both sides have a responsibility to ensure a future that continues to serve Canadians, and that the government is committed to a sustainable, modern, and resilient postal service. With the government's expenditure review well underway, the minister also said he'll be keeping a close eye on Canada Post, which is on track to record an even larger annual loss in 2025 than last year's $840 million. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Some furniture sold at the Brick is being recalled due to high levels of lead. The recall affects Lars-branded furniture, including the Lars counter table, chair, wood top, metal base, and tabletop glass insert. Health Canada says the black coating on the products contains an excessive amount of lead. More than 17,000 affected products were sold across the country between June 2023 and July of this year. No illnesses have been reported. A museum tucked away in Red Deer is dedicated to showcasing and preserving Norwegian culture. As CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports, it's been providing education and experiences for the past 35 years.
This log cabin in Heritage Square doesn't look like much, but when you step inside, you're transported to Norway and Scandinavia.
Yeah, one of Red Deer's best kept secrets. We've been trying to change that.
The Norwegian leftist museum isn't something you see every day. Founding mother Betty Wolf wanted to build an international village.
Her original idea was for like other cultures to build a house like ours and share their cultures and history.
The Norwegian house was built and opened its doors in 1987. The rest of the houses were never built, but this one still stands today. It was made to be a replica of a traditional Norwegian storehouse, including a staircase to an upper level.
So the kids would actually sleep upstairs, and once they were all tucked into bed and put away, they would take the ladder off, and so no one could get up or down.
While there aren't many Norwegians in Red Deer today, the influx of immigrants came in the early 1900s. Every inch of the cabin has a unique knickknack or trinket that showcases Norwegian culture, all things donated.
The older people are, dying, and the family doesn't, the young ones don't want a lot of the stuff, so then they contact us.
A lot of Norwegians that have actually visited us have said it's a lot of our artifacts is something they would find in their great-grandparents' house.
You can see Norwegian culture in its kitchen and bedroom and also experience it hands-on. The museum holds regular crafting and baking classes.
My father was Norwegian, so I didn't know how to make any of the Norwegian dishes, so that's why I originally joined.
While entry into the museum is free, guests are encouraged to donate to keep its history alive. In Red Deer, Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News.
Still ahead, doggy detective.
Good girl.
This dog became a life-changing partner for her owner.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
On this International Dog Day, we are highlighting a particularly good dog. Suki has a nose for a very specific ingredient. ABC's Danny New explains.
How did I get my gluten detection dog? I trained her.
This is Suki, a certified cutie and a certified gluten detection dog. How essential is Suki to your life?
She is such a game changer for me.
For California's Kendra Williams here, who has celiac disease.
Good girl.
Her 5-year-old Portuguese water dog has been trained to smell mom's food and give the signal if there are any traces of gluten, a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. According to the Cleveland Clinic, when you ingest gluten with celiac disease, your immune system starts attacking the gluten, damaging your small intestine. So when Kendra goes out to eat, for example, Suki will boop her if the food is safe, and if it's not, Suki will alert Kendra with a little paw action. Back in 2017, when Kendra was first diagnosed in her late 40s, she says even a breadcrumb could suddenly cause internal damage and leave her sick for weeks.
Good sit.
So in the 2020 lockdown, Kendra decided to use that time to adopt and train a 10-week-old doggy detective. For 2 years, they took online courses together with a special trainer, and within the first year, Suki could already help with a perhaps surprising gluten container, medicine. 5 years later, not only is Suki helping Kendra eat safely all over the country, but she's also become pretty famous now. This video from earlier this month has more than 10 million views, with one commenter writing, "Not only would I trust Suki with my food, I trust her to be my power of attorney."
It took a lot of work to get here, but she is a wonderful girl.
Smart dog. 33 degrees for a daytime high tomorrow. Should be a record. The record for August 27th is 31.1 from 1934. So a record-setting day today, probably a record-setting day tomorrow. We'll likely set another record on Thursday as we get up to 33 again. And we're still in the 30s Friday, Saturday, and probably Sunday as well. 29 or 30 for a daytime high Sunday. You look at the bottom of the screen, 21, the average daytime high. So we're a good 10 to 12 degrees above average through the next 4 or 5 days. A little cooler back into the 20s next week.
All right, thank you, Josh, and thanks for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, ctvnewsedmonton.ca or the CTV channel on YouTube. See ya.